I would now like to share the story of how we made Ariel Future happen. The team that invented the initial technology was quite small. There were only 6 of us. A small new team in an established organisation of 250 scientists in the Newcastle Technical Centre. 2 new managers who I was fortunate enough to have working for me, Dr. Jan Jeffrey and Dr. Elizabeth Shaw, 2 very experienced technicians, John Burdis and Colin Ewer, and finally a student intern, Claire Austin, who was with us for just 1 year. What we did differently was to go right back to the fundamentals. We went back to the original consumer research to find out what consumers wanted from laundry detergents. As we were all analytical chemists, we were extremely driven to prove that a thorough analytical understanding of the chemistry behind the problems that faced consumers would lead to better solutions. We were somewhat shocked to find that what the corporation had been ignoring, better stain removal, was the one thing that customers desired most. The company had almost exhausted both its current technologies and new ideas in this key area. At that point in time, the primary ingredient that was used to remove stains was bleach. The company had invested massively in new types of bleach technologies, faster dissolving bleaches, more powerful bleaches, all sorts of different executions of what they thought was the only way to remove stains, bleach. Although they always ran into a seemingly insurmountable obstacle. It is extremely difficult to remove stains without damaging fabrics at the same time. P&G simply refused to compromise fabric damage in return for better stain removal. So the rest of the technical teams had moved on to look at other consumer issues, other ways of making laundry detergents better, like packaging, softeners, new fragrances, things I would consider as secondary benefits for a laundry detergent. Our team were all analytical chemists by training, so we were all experts in the kind of forensic science you see today in TV shows like NCIS, Bones and CSI. What we brought was that forensic expertise and state-of-the-art equipment to better understand the chemistry behind the really difficult to remove stains. The examples that consumers continually told us they had a problem with were very common stains like tea, coffee and red wine. We found that all of these stains shared a common chemical characteristic. Every one of them contained heavy metal ions, which I found ironic given that my favourite genre of music is heavy metal. This was an important breakthrough because all of these heavy metal ions shared one key chemical characteristic. They all destroyed bleach. The chemistry is extremely complicated, but just one heavy metal ion can destroy thousands of molecules of bleach. This is well-known chemistry, and it explained why all previous efforts at using bleach to remove stains had failed. It did not matter if you used more bleach, more powerful bleach, or faster dissolving bleach. They were all destroyed by the very stains they were designed to remove. The unexpected result was that if we could not use bleach to remove stains, we had to find something else, and by definition, if bleaches were the most aggressive stain removal agents, it meant that everything else was going to be less aggressive, and thus much kinder to fabrics. This is exactly what we did. We found a much gentler, kinder solution that would still be able to remove stains. We did not have to invent any new chemicals. We used chemicals that were already in the product. We started with a simple, cheap ingredient that was there to control heavy metal ions during the production of the product. My first project in the company was to develop a way to analyse this material in our finished products. I quickly ended up, by complete accident, becoming the company expert in this area of chemistry, after nearly 3 years of working on all sorts of chemistry issues with this material. There's probably a whole book waiting to be written on this, but for now, let us just say that if anyone in the company knew about how to make this chemistry work, it was me. So we simply added more of a newly synthesized biodegradable chelate, ethylene diamine disuccinic acid, EDDS. This molecule just happened to be great at binding heavy metals at the pH of detergent products. We made it dissolve fast, so the first thing that happened in the new product was that this molecule, that was designed to remove heavy metal ions during processing was now used to remove heavy metal ions from the difficult stains during the early parts of the wash. Once they were removed, these metal ions could not damage the bleach anymore. The next thing we used were enzymes. Again, they were already in the product to improve the removal of protein and lipid stains. The heavy metal ions were not just destroying bleach, they were destroying enzymes as well. We made the enzymes, which were very expensive to use, more efficient by delaying the release until the molecules designed to remove heavy metal ions had already performed their function. The enzymes simply softened up the stain a little more. The final ingredient that dissolved in the product was the bleach, but we used significantly less of it than in previous products. The stain removal achieved by using these ingredients in succession rather than all together was miraculous. However, at that point in time, there was no real reason to risk launching a radical new product. That was until the market was disrupted by a massive mistake made by our largest competitor, Unilever, who paved the way for our new technology with their launch of Persil Power and the failure that resulted. So now it's time for you to do some work. I want you to watch the Persil Power documentary and read the case study before answering 4 questions. First, I want you to identify what you think were Unilever's critical mistakes. Secondly, how did Procter & Gamble exploit those mistakes? The third question is who suffered most in the incident. This is quite a difficult one, and you may have to do quite a bit of searching on the internet to find the answer, or answers. And the final question is, how could Unilever have anticipated this and avoided these problems? The flip side of the coin for P&G was because we had spent such a long time understanding the chemistry behind the problem, we were in a unique position to launch a product on a very fast timescale, but a product that both cleaned clothes and was kind to fabrics. With all the recent media attention, this was the ultimate product, and being able to launch one that was delivering both of these benefits almost guaranteed a great market position. Because we understood the chemistry, we were able to move from the laboratory bench to full-scale production in 12 months. This was incredibly fast. It was normally 18 months for a product of this nature. Ariel Future became the #1 selling laundry detergent in Europe. The Ariel brand had a sales value of over $500 million per year, which back then was even higher than Viagra is now. I received my first promotion in recognition of leading the team that had developed the original technology, but the company car that came with it meant my wages actually went down because of UK tax laws, but it did go up nicely the year after. In the final podcast in this series, I'm going to explain what I have learned from all of this and how these experiences have shaped my career and the way I go about coaching other people to follow a similar path into the realms of technology commercialization.